Alright, so I just wanted to talk about how you should build Rades. I know there's a lot of discussion around it, but there's mainly one way that you're gonna be building him. I don't really see you building him any other way that really benefits him. And he's gonna be a unit that's gonna have a lot of relevancy because of how he works and mainly his ultimate, and he's gonna get much better when Noel does come out. So building him whenever is great. Now, this is basically him and Mimosa are the start of actually using magic attack sets because after that you've got Noelle who's gonna come out and yeah, you're gonna want to use magic attack on her, that's for sure. So let's explain his skills a bit and then we're just gonna get into it. So skill 1 just does a decent amount of damage, applies poison, single target, nothing crazy. Skill 2 actually really good. It applies defense level 2, so 140% defense, and I don't know if it could go up higher than that with the skill page, with his skill page. Nah, it just gives damage res with the skill page also. So very good, but because it's AoE, and if you have someone who counters, it can be bad in some cases, but I'd say that getting the defense after you apply barrier is great. Now his ult is the main part of his kit, gives a barrier, and it's up to 240% of his magic attack, and then afterwards it also has a chance to grant endurance and also status change immunity. So for 2 turns you cannot take you cannot be stunned for 2 turns after this buff goes active. And because of his passive giving him an extra 7 speed, it means he's quicker than anyone who stuns, or as quick as Rill, who also has 107 speed. So you give him a bit of speed and then he's going to be able to make it so that you cannot get stunned, which I think is wonderful. Now, as I said, unique passive gives him 7 speed, so as a defender he's going to have the highest speed for a defender, which is honestly really nice. 107 speed is really high. Now his passive, oh, I'm going quick, huh? But his passive is actually really good. Now, if you should dupe him out, let's talk about the enhancements first, what it gives. What I don't like is that it gives defense and HP and no magic attack. It's weird. I think that you would mainly have wanted it to be magic attack for him to be even better. But I guess in this way, it's because of the passive itself. The Dupe passive is basically when you take damage, there's a chance you taunt the enemy that you took damage from, which is really good as taunts stop the enemy, or taunts stop the person who's taunted from using buff skills, which I think is amazing. So I guess that in retrospect, like, sure, it can be decently useful sometimes to get the defense and HP because of the fact that when he does get taunted, he will be targeted. Now, I think it's honestly really worth to get him to 2 dupes. Free to play. Don't waste anything. Don't try to chase him. I don't think you should be using your dupe stones on him. But if you get any of these, obviously be happy. I think it's going to be very worth to maybe pick from the selectors to get him to 2 dupes. He's actually really good. Stats wise, this is going to very much increase his stats because defenders just have very high base stats, and then when you increase their defense a lot, it makes them very stupid. But yeah, 2 dupes I think is definitely what you should be aiming for. Now, should you dupe? No, sorry, not should you dupe. Now, as for skill pages, I'm like actually out of it. So for skill pages, there's mainly 4 that I'm gonna see you using. If you use any other ones, it's because you just don't have these. But I really think you should use these. Now, this one's good. Gives a barrier equal to his HP, but the main part is definitely getting the damage resistance on his skill 2. That's the main thing from this. Now Mars is good too if you do have his passive LR, sorry, not LR, do passive, because you get the damage reduction every time you take damage. And this one's probably his best one if you're going to build him for the shield, as it's going to give him extra magic attack. And then this one, I mean, if you don't have anything else, Seke's is good. Increases HP and then defense. So, overall, not horrible. These are 4 that I could give you. This one's free to play, and this one I basically could consider free to play. Now, going back into it, as for his talents, you would mainly want to just get this one. And then, I mean, if you want to get this, sure. But you want to get the magic attack. Now, for this, defense and the endurance one. And then swiftness with the damage resistance. I don't really think any of the other ones are good. Like usual, this is mainly the for the defense and support ones. It's always good to have mainly those 2 and these 2. So that's how I usually build my units, and it usually works without any problems. Now, as for how you want to build as for how you want to build Rades, he is a magic attack unit. You want mainly his main use in my eyes is using him for his barrier. You're not using him to tank most of the time, and you could still tank decently well once you have the barrier up. So why I'm saying this, magic attack when you build them up, this could like in the future be 70, 80k barriers on everyone. you cannot penetrate this easily, right? Like you cannot penetrate it easily. And if you buff him with any type of magic attack buff, it could be 100k plus, right? Once you get his magic attack up. Right now, if I had this level 5, it would be maybe, okay, 19,000. Let me do some multiplication. So 19,000 times 240, 240 is, sorry, 2.4. It's 45,000 right now. I could get his magic attack up so much higher too. And you got to consider that this skill page is making it so his magic attack is 10% higher. And I could also get, like, it's just really good. There's a lot of things that's going to make it so that shield wise, it's going to be able to get very high. And of course, you're going to use this first turn every time. So getting a good barrier is nice. You won't be able to penetrate it if you have high magic attack. And also, this doesn't really count in the process of actually this magic attack and also the set buff. So it will be higher than just 19k actually too. Rades is just really good for keeping you alive and making it so that you won't get stunned. Now, as for teams, basically the last part, I'm not going to do a PvP showcase because I don't think my Rades is that built on global, or Canada, sorry, but on KR, I actually have him, like, I think Dupe 3. I have a skill page and like he's what, like 50k 55k CC, but I don't have him built up and I'm not doing a KR showcase for this. Sorry about that, but magic attack is the way you want to go to make his barrier just unga bunga strength, right? Now, this team I'd say is like one of the best ones, if not like maybe with Mars, like one of those two. How it works basically is he's gonna shield, right? If you want to even put this to speed up Rades or something, I mean sure, like this slot is a bit lenient, but how it works, you shield, these two won't be dying quickly or at all, and she's gonna usually heal you up if you do take damage and res if someone does die. Now you also got this, which is basically a more toxic version. You could apply the block with William. She's going to apply the all attack buff, and then his shield's going to be even stronger. He's going to apply his shield. He's also going to have the all attack buff, and then he's going to do Unga Boga damage. You could also replace this with any DPS. And then you've got this type of team with 2 DPSs. And then you've got Mars to stop debuffs, and then he's going to shield, right? So stuff like that is basically how it works. Yeah, and I mean, this team too could work, but, you know, nothing too crazy. I think Rades is going to find more value when Noel comes out, but a lot of people still do want to use him, and I think he's still very, very, very worth it. So that's basically Rades. Now, as for how you would maybe want to put this, I'd say shield this. You always want to, then obviously Mimosa, it's always better to go for skill 2 first before alt, because people won't be dying by then. But I'd say Rades right now has less value than he will in the future, which is crazy that that's like mainly a thing. But Rades overall, amazing unit. Good dupes because this is a really good passive. Being able to get that taunt without even attacking is great. Amazing shield, then increased defense. He actually does pretty good damage because you build him with magic attack, so I actually really like this unit. And that's basically it. Very short build, but needed to get this out because I've seen people talk about him a lot.